Welcome, traveler, to the Beautiful Sunday podcast, with special thanks to the Society of BS, where every tale hides a secret, every whisper leads to a wonder, and nothing is ever quite what it seems.
Each week, we gather around to share the strange, the spooky, and the stories that refuse to stay buried.
I never know what you're about to tell me, and I'm pretty sure I'll regret finding out.
Good, then you've come to the right place.
This week, we gather around the fire for a segment we like to call Campfire Bites.
Take a seat on the log and grab your blanket while we listen to the crackle of the fire under a sky full of stars. Let us tell you a tale in this episode we call File 13, A Burden Carried West, Fantasma, Colorado.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm really excited to tell you this story this week. Not only is it an Arizona history lesson, but it's a creepy urban legend, a funny story about a short-lived army experiment, and why we have one of the weirdest laws in Arizona.
Okay.
So with that being said, let's get into it. The story starts with two women and their children living their merry lives in 1883. The women were going about their normal chores. One of the women left to a nearby spring to fetch water. Minutes go by when the family dog begins to bark. The woman who is in the house rushes to the window, and what she sees terrifies her. She can't even make out enough to describe what it is that she sees out her window. This woman did not leave her house. She froze in terror. Then the screaming started. The woman ran and barricaded her door, bent down to her knees, and began to pray. She would pray all day long until the men of the family returned later that night, and they found her hysterical. The most she could describe to them was out the window was a beast that was red, enormous, and ridden by the devil. The men grabbed their torches and head out to the spring where the other woman had earlier went to fetch water, and that's where they found her. Her body was splayed near the water and trampled flat. In the mud nearby, there were giant impressions of hoofprints, much bigger than the size of a horse, and stuck in the willows nearby were long, reddish-brown hairs. This is the story of the Red Ghost Camel with the skeleton rider, the failed army experiment known as Camel Corps, and the reason it's illegal to hunt camels in Arizona.
What?
Okay, did you follow what happened? It was kind of a lot, kind of weird.
Yeah, I was like, I got lost there. I was like, okay, there's something. And then, like, she's trampled, and what?
Yeah, so essentially one woman goes out to get water, the other woman stays home. She sees something out her window, locks herself in the house, and when the men later go and search, they find the other woman trampled dead.
Yeah, she didn't go warn the other woman?
No, it specifically said that she was too terrified to move and that she stayed in her house the whole time.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, she didn't help her at all. But to be fair, she saw this giant creature that she said had a devil on its back. So, I mean, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna help?
Yeah, that's true, because if it sees you, then you're dead.
And there were children in the house as well. So I'd imagine she was trying to protect the kids, but honestly, I think she was just terrified.
Well, yeah.
Because they said she spent the rest of the day, because this happened like in the morning and the men went out hunting and they didn't get back till nighttime. And she spent that whole time praying.
That makes sense, I guess. But that sucks for the other woman who had no warning of this beast that came and trampled her.
Nope. So
at this point, we don't know it's a camel. We just know it's something, a beast much bigger than a horse.
With hooves, big hooves.
And red hair.
Right.
Camels aren't normally red.
Well, okay, reddish brown.
Okay, I guess, sure.
So have you ever heard the law about hunting camels in Arizona?
No.
Like, you've never heard that?
I've never seen a camel in Arizona. Actually, okay, I've seen one camel in Arizona, but that was at a zoo.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, so whenever you see those videos online and they're like, weirdest laws in every state, our state always gets the law about hunting camels in Arizona, and everybody's like, why is it illegal to hunt camels in Arizona? There's not even camels in Arizona.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always that one thing that ruined it for everybody when it comes to those laws. They're like, there's something. There's a reason why there's a weird law.
There definitely is a reason.
Yeah.
So let's start with dispelling the myth. Technically, there is no law that says you can't hunt camels in Arizona. That's a myth.
Okay.
So all those times that people quote it, if you hear it, it's a myth. I'm sure it came up at some point, hey, don't hunt the camels in Arizona, but it's not an actual law that was put in on the books.
Well,
There's no written evidence of it.
Okay, so it was just something that people are saying, like, you can't hunt camels in Arizona.
Or I don't know if it was like by cities or different things like that, where they're just like, hey, you're going to see camels, don't hunt them, you know?
But the fact that you see camels that I can't get, like, are there any camels in the U.S., period? Like, free roaming camels?
Well, why don't we get into why there were camels in Arizona to begin with? So, and I love this name. It's a failed military experiment called Camel Corps.
Okay.
So essentially, what happened is Arizona's a desert, much like where camels come from.
Sure.
And so they figured, camels can hold a lot more like cargo. They can last for a lot longer than horses can. So why don't we import some camels and see if, we can make use of them in Arizona?
Sure.
Because it's a desert. Might as well try. So, with that, they imported like 75 camels into Arizona.
Oh.
Well, actually, I think it started in Texas. So they imported those camels into Texas, and they approved a $30,000 budget for a experimental Camel Corps.
Okay, and this was, I think you have here, 1855. So
yes.
$30,000 is a lot of money in 1855.
Yes, I did the inflation thing, and I got roughly $1 million in today's money.
Wow.
So spent $1 million on camels, and like, hey, let's try these camels out.
Sure. Tech wasn't as developed back then.
Right. I mean, 1855, long time ago.
Yeah.
So they imported these camels, but it wouldn't take long, specifically around 10 years, where whatever remaining camels they had were sold at auction. Do you want to know why?
Why the camels were sold at auction?
Why it only lasted for 10 years.
Oh, sure, why not? I think I have a guess, but tell me.
Well, it's because camels are terrible at battling. They wanted to use them for the army to fight, and they kind of suck at it.
Because they're lazy and they don't want to do anything?
Oh, no, it's worse than that.
Okay, do you have details on how they suck at battle?
Yes, so the army discovered that they kind of suck at breathing. That's kind of the first initial thing that they suck at.
Okay.
So apparently they don't have that large a lung capacity, and when they overexert themselves, it kind of leads to a series of health problems.
No.
So they didn't really get far. So I guess for like long periods of time, they have all those built-in features that'll help them last. But when they push that further than what they're meant for, it doesn't go well. And they also don't get along with horses or mules. Okay. Which is what they were using at the time in other capacities. So that didn't help. They were fighting with the other horses and mules. And then the best part, they bite, they spit, they vomit and poop on their handlers and anybody who passes by. Oh my. So you can imagine they import all these camels. They're like, yeah, let's go. Let's fight with these camels. And they're vomiting and pooping and spitting on anybody who decides to walk by.
That's hilarious. Like, just because I've been in the military and I've been in planning meetings for different things and different ideas, and to come, the guy that came in there with this great idea, like, look, think about it. Here are these camels, and here's what they do. We're going to bring them in. They're going to make us, like, they're going to make us, I would say not inferior. They're going to make us better, right? This better than horses. Like, look how far they can run. Like, this is going to be a great thing. And then it just completely, like, failed. I just think of Aladdin when it's like, be careful, they spit.
I'm just imagining, like a battalion on the backs of camels.
And they don't want to run.
No.
They don't want to do anything.
And then they just, like I imagine,
stubborn.
Like, yeah. And then they just stop running and they all just, like, spit and vomit. And you're like,
yeah.
Whose idea was this?
Cursing the guy. Yeah.
So that leads us to, because again, this was started in Texas. How do we get to Arizona? Well, when they were done with the camels, the ones that weren't auctioned, some people just let loose and let them wander away to live their own merry lives and go where they needed. And so some of them got sold to people who lived in other places like Arizona. Some of them just were left to go about whatever. They just let them go.
Okay. So then you just see not necessarily wild camel, but wild camel.
But camels walking around.
Yeah. Be careful. They are dangerous now. They've been trained in the army.
Yeah. And they spit and vomit and poop at you.
That's funny. When I was deployed, we got to go to a place where we could ride camels.
I was gonna ask you because I'm pretty sure you have experience with camel, right?
Just riding it one time. So interesting enough, when we went to this tour, we got to first see like the camels kind of in their pen. And so the only reason I knew that they spit is because of Aladdin, of course, it's one of my favorite movies. And so we were going up to this camel and we were asking, like, is it okay to like pet it or whatever? Well, I wasn't. My friend who was there, he was asking. And they're like, yeah, it's so fine.
I just want to
Go
pet
see
the
them,
fluffy
right?
beast.
And they weren't like biting, they weren't aggressive, but I kept my distance. I got a couple selfies with those ones. And then we went to the actual place, like where the tour ended, where they like you could go sledding on the sand, which was really cool. You got to ride some camels, you got to eat. They had a show. So when I went to go ride the camel, it was very interesting. Like I didn't see them poop or spit or vomit, so that's good. I was expecting something just because.
I would also imagine that these people who work with these camels have probably learned how to train them better than, back then.
Yeah, this is true. They understand their behaviors. But I got to ride it, and it was just like a circle, right? Didn't go very far. Definitely pretty interesting. Different than riding a horse because you're sitting like in between the humps. That was weird.
So essentially, there's one hump in front of you and one hump behind you.
Yes. And
what does the hump feel like? Like, did you squish it at all? Like, pet it? Does it feel hard?
It feels hard. Like, it feels like a knee.
Like a bone?
Yeah, I would say but not as hard as a bone.
Is it
More
cartilage?
I think it's more cartilage.
Yeah, I was trying to think of I wonder. I don't know if I've ever seen a camel skeleton, but I don't think the humps are in it, right?
No, I don't know. I've never seen a camel skeleton.
No, I'm curious.
And also, I used to think they tell you they're full of water.
Right. But that's probably
yeah, I don't know. I don't know
extent.
enough about camels to really determine that.
But it didn't spit on you.
It didn't spit on me. No.
Good.
Or poop on me.
Did it spit on anybody you saw?
Not that we heard, or not that they said. But who knows? Maybe they know when they're gonna spit and they can turn them away. But they didn't have any problems. One didn't want to give rides. They had 3 camels that you could ride, and one was like, no, I'm not having it. Would sit there, and so they'd get the camel to sit, then you'd hop on its back, and then it would stand up, which is the craziest thing. While you're on its back, it's trying to stand up.
Whoa, wait! You're saying it was sitting down and you had to climb it while sitting down, and it stood up?
Yes.
How tall was this thing?
It was really tall. At least 8 feet high.
Was it scary?
A little bit. A little bit. I don't know. I like the fear factor at that point when you're deployed and all that stuff. You're just like, F it. Let's try it. Because that was the deployment. I went on the world's fastest roller coaster. I went up to the Burj Khalifa, the highest floor you
did
can go.
A bunch of things that are terrifying.
Yes, I went on this water slide where the floor just drops below you. So I was just being, adventurous then.
Compared to the tallest building and the thing dropping beneath you, I think a camel would be pretty calm.
I was also 24, 25 back then, so a lot younger. 10 years youth. So, no, it was an interesting ride. It wasn't like a horse, right? No, it was kind of just.
Was it in the sand?
It was in the sand. I wouldn't know how to describe the movement. You're kind of like
flowing, maybe?
Like a flow, yeah, because it's the way it steps in the sand, because it goes down a little bit, and then you're in between the 2 humps. It's a pretty interesting experience. I survived it. Good. And then it was funny because when we were actually at the pen previously with my friend, he had asked, he's like, do you guys eat the camel? And they're like, oh, sometimes.
It's yeah, you better watch out, camel that doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
They're looking at you.
Yeah, and so when we went to go, they had a whole meal for us that evening.
Was it camel?
We were pretty sure it was camel.
Oh, you don't know?
We don't know. They said it was chicken, but it definitely didn't taste like chicken.
Oh, God.
So I would not be surprised if we had camel that night.
That reminds me of the rumors they had at the high school where they're like, don't eat the burgers. They're pigeon burgers.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, you know why? The pigeons are all gone in winter, right?
Yes. So definitely interesting story. Might have tried some camel. Who knows?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, let's go on to talk about the ghost camel.
Yeah, what is up with this weird red-haired camel?
So, would you believe there is some evidence that this thing actually existed?
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are actually like many different stories about this red ghost camel. Some that are, how myths happen. They're more far-fetched, they're a little unbelievable, and some that are more realistic. Well, a couple months after the sightings of some of them, a group of miners spotted them and shot at it.
Ooh.
And they actually hit it. And after they hit it, they saw something fall off the back of it. And so, but obviously they didn't kill it, it ran off.
Mm-hmm.
So when they approached where the thing fell, it was a human skull with bits stuck to it.
What?
So essentially, they shoot the camel and a skull fell off. So
was there anything riding? They didn't say anything was riding the camel at that point?
Well,
was that reported?
Not that they saw, but the woman, remember, she said there was a devil riding its back, and the report said they saw a skeleton riding the camel. So the fact that a skull falls off of this camel kind of leads into the theory that, hey, maybe there was actually a skull or a skeleton on the back of this camel.
Oh, but maybe like someone died on the back of the camel and like couldn't get off.
So now you're getting to some of the theories, but before we get there, let's talk about what ended up happening to this camel.
Okay.
So after that, it would be years later, and a rancher would see the camel, and it would be eating like tomatoes out of the rancher's garden or whatever, and so it shot it and killed it. It was the final blow for it, and essentially they could tell that this camel was feral. It had the red hair, the reddish brown hair that everybody was talking about.
Okay.
And then it had a saddle that was latched super tight to the camel, so tight that it had marks in the poor thing.
Oh, okay.
So essentially what people think and are theorizing is that maybe somebody who was like in desperate need of water latched themselves onto this camel, like maybe they're going in and out of consciousness, so they latched themselves tight to this camel, hoping the camel would lead them somewhere with water, and then they just perished on the back of it.
Okay.
And so now this camel with no rider, nothing, is just, it's getting tired, it's getting exhausted, it's overexerting itself, and it's like every time it sees somebody, it's freaking out, it's being tramply, because it's been shown that camels that become overexerted become aggressive. So it kind of explains that behavior.
Okay.
So dead guy on the back of its saddle.
Well, and if you can imagine, like back then, if she saw it and the guy on its back was decomposing and the camel's flailing around, so now the dead body on top of it's flailing around, you can't really tell it's alive. It obviously looks disgusting, but if it's flailing around.
And what do you do if you see that out your window? Like, are you gonna go run out there?
No. Maybe to see what it is, like if it runs away. If it's running away, yes.
But remember, this thing is aggressive. It killed the other lady.
That's true.
So I mean, and who knows, back then superstition was much higher.
This is true. It's hard. There's more things that's harder to explain on what it actually is.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of the theory as to what this thing was, and it's kind of sad when you think about it. What happened to this poor camel, all because of a failed military experiment.
We can talk about a lot of sad things that are due to failed military experiments, but that's another day for another story of all the creatures that we talk about here on this show.
Funny you should mention creatures, as that is technically the end of my Red Ghost Camel story.
Which is not a ghost.
Right, it's just an actual camel that was
a feral camel.
A feral camel. But that brings us to game time.
Yay, a game. We haven't had a game
you're finally
in a whole month.
Excited to play games.
Well,
usually you're dreading them.
We've had a whole month without games. So when you're without something for a while, you finally start to miss it.
You appreciate it. Yay.
Yeah.
So this game is called Authorized or Absent. I will give you an example of an animal experiment by the military or government, and you have to decide whether it was authorized, meaning it really was a thing,
Okay.
or absent, meaning no such thing existed.
Oh, okay. Not that they just did the experiment without the approval of the U.S. government.
No, it'd be more so like it wasn't made for the military or anything like that.
Like it still happened?
I mean, there could be potentially that maybe this happened to a different capacity, but this is specifically used for like military experiments. Does that make sense?
Sure. So you're saying even if it wasn't, you found it somewhere and it possibly could?
Potentially. I mean, not all of them. That's just maybe potentially a thing that could happen.
Okay.
All right, you ready for the first one?
Yes.
So the first one is, scientists in the government began breeding or altering animals' genetics to glow faintly in the dark so soldiers could track them at night without lights. Is that authorized or absent?
I want to say authorized.
You want to say authorized?
Yeah, that seems like a logical experiment to do.
Is that your final guess?
Yes.
This one's absent.
Oh.
So actually, this is what makes me laugh, is this one did happen in another capacity. So they have experimented with breeding animals to make them glow fluorescently, like bioluminescent, if you will.
Sure.
So they've done that before with like cats, but I don't know otherwise if there's I don't know what the practical use of finding them for military reasons are, if that makes sense.
I guess so. I mean, to track them, but then everybody else would be able to track them.
You'd be able to see them and
That's
kind of give
true.
away things. No, I think one of the reasons that I had heard floated around about why they bioluminescent cats was they wanted to kind of like create a myth about nuclear sites, to be like, oh, if you see a glowing cat, don't go near that area.
So it would scare people away from
going to the nuclear sites.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
So the next one is, marine mammals were trained to locate underwater explosives and mark them for human removal.
Yes, I think I've heard about this one actually.
So authorized?
Yes.
Final
Authorized. Final guess.
And yes, that's right. Authorized.
They do dolphins, yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
dolphins. And they're still being used in some capacity
Yes,
today to
yep.
locate the mines.
EOD dolphins.
EOD?
Yes.
You don't know what it stands for, do
I
you?
don't. It's basically the guys that go out there and make sure that it's safe, like a bomb, or like if they ever find a suspicious package, they can go out there and determine, or like
Explosive something or other.
yeah, explosive ordnance detection,
That makes sense.
something like that. Don't quote
I'm
me.
sure somebody will look it up.
There's so many acronyms in the government, in the military. But yeah, they basically go out there and they have these machines. So they've thankfully created with technology, like machines and robots that can go out there and do it. But they also have these suits that they wear. Like if a human.
I would imagine the like machines and water doesn't really mix.
No, that's
So
true.
that makes sense that it
Yeah.
would be
Do you have some of the
dolphins.
history on it? Because I was told this before, but I don't remember
About the dolphins?
Yeah.
I don't. Not on this one, because I don't really do
research.
super research into the game.
Yeah. But yeah, I heard about this before, that the dolphins are trained and that it assists us humans to go and locate.
It makes sense.
There
They're
are
very smart creatures.
Yeah, I mean, David was a missile loader with the airplanes here in Tucson, and yeah, sometimes it happens where they have to go make sure that the bomb or missile is okay and it wasn't detonated or set off in some way, so some little thing can make it explode, and they need these people to go check it. And of course, there's submarines and ships underwater, so having a dolphin that will go and do this for you is pretty helpful.
Well, speaking of explosives, your next one is, bats were fitted with small timed explosives intended to start fires in enemy cities.
Aw,
Authorized or absent?
that's so sad. I think that's absent.
You think that you don't
Yeah,
think
I
that's
don't
real?
I feel like bats are so unpredictable.
This is authorized.
Oh. Okay then.
So this was tested, was ready to go, but then they started developing nuclear weapons, and they were like, who needs bats when we have nuclear weapons?
Sure.
So they just kind of said nah. So the whole thing is the bats were supposed to like dive into like they weren't trained necessarily. They just attached them to their backs and let them go fly into the cities.
And just release them.
Yeah, because they were hoping they would just start fires. So yeah, it was a ticking time bomb on the back of a bat. Pretty sad. Glad it didn't happen, but also the thing that didn't make it happen was, explosions and the Manhattan Project. So
Yeah.
it's not like the alternative was any better.
No, that's true. However, with technology, the use of animals, went away for the most part.
For the most part.
Thankfully. Thank goodness for technology.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
So this is a covert program attempted to implant listening devices into cats so they could wander around unnoticed near foreign embassies.
I mean, this one seems like it's doable, considering people connect cameras to cats now and watch them run feral
Oh, the
around there.
GoPros.
Yes, the GoPros. I love watching those. The ones that I found out my cat's the bully of our neighborhood.
And you have a cat that's a bully?
Like there was a video that said I connected a camera to my cat and found out he's the bully of our neighborhood. And you just see him like there's like cats just chilling, like minding their own business. This cat goes and like messes with them. It's a pretty funny video to watch if you can go out into the internets and watch it. I'm sure if you Google it,
I'm sure there are plenty of them.
there's
that
plenty
exist.
of them. But anyways,
Authorized or absent?
I would say it was authorized because I feel like they've done other things with animals as spies.
This one was authorized.
Okay.
So the project was called Acoustic Kitty, which to me sounds like some sort of indie band.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It sounds like a band.
Yeah, I don't really know much more than the fact that it was called Acoustic Kitty, but that just makes me laugh. All right, you ready for the final one?
Yes.
This is the final one. Goats were exposed to extreme altitudes and pressure changes to study how mammalian bodies respond before sending human pilots. Absent or authorized?
I've never heard of this with goats. I feel like goats go into areas like that anyway. No,
well,
not
depending
goats.
on the type of goat, like they do have mountain goats.
Mountain goats, yeah. I was
But
thinking of
even
Sound of
then, like
Music.
we're thinking of high altitudes because this is for pilots.
Sure.
So this is like way higher than, normal.
I'm gonna say absent.
This is authorized.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Where did they put the goats?
I don't
You didn't do the
any
research.
on these
I need you to
ones.
do a little bit.
Okay, I'll
You're
do
gonna tell me something very interesting and not give me the details. But I guess
Okay,
it leaves
I
it.
can look it up right now if you really want to know.
Well, I mean, we can leave it open for everybody else to do the research.
We can put more facts on our Instagram. How about that? Because I didn't leave one for you to have to wait for
Okay,
Instagram.
good. So then on Instagram, we'll put some facts about.
Oh, apparently they were used in. I just googled it really quick. They were used in a lot of different environments, extreme environments.
Oh no.
The U.S. Navy used them in hyperbaric pressure chambers to study decompression sickness.
Oh no. I have to put a what is this? Not a disclosure. What is it called? Disclaimer.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Seleena just made a face of complete just concern.
Yeah, don't look into it. I don't know that we want to even do this anymore. Don't look into it. It's pretty sad. Yeah, well, let's just let that tale sink into the embers of the fire of this episode of Campfire Bites concludes. Tune in next time for some more.
If you've got theories or secrets of your own, send them to us on Instagram @SocietyofBS or tag #SocietyofBS or #CampfireBites so others can find you. Thank you for joining us here at A Beautiful Sunday Podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Seleena.
This is another tale for the archives. Heart open, mind odd, sun high.
And if you're still hearing whispers after the credits, maybe you were meant to.